Yes, now bless now, people. Don't forget to rest now. There's Rocksteady King of the Pit TV signing in. I just listened to this record by Pantera, put out in '84. It's entitled Projects in the Jungle. Got recommended to me via the Patreon by Braden. Thank you very much for that, my man. He put me on to Cowboys from Hell just prior to this. We listened to that a day before. So it's quite a contrast, right? We can see the duality of Pantera. 10 tracks on this record. Substantial amount of material. You're probably looking at an average about 3 minute 30 per track. Great record. Great record. Only let down by its production value, and its production value wasn't bad. It's just when I'll tell you what, just the sound and the quality and the writing in the music, the production wasn't meeting it at its level. So there was a disconnect. Music like this needs to be polished to hell and back for it to work. And for that to happen, we need a big mainstream, cash pot to, take a handful out of. So unfortunately, they didn't get that at this time. But absolutely amazing. Really good record. Some songs were better than others, but overall, there wasn't necessarily any bad songs. There was Blue Light Turning Red, which I guess was a showcase of the technical capability given needed by the guitarist Dimebag Darrell, but a load of shit. I don't want to hear some guy just shred guitar on record. I don't care. I honestly don't care. So I'd get rid of that, make it a 9-track record. And it was absolutely really good. I'm a fan of glam. I think glam riffs are better than thrash riffs, generally speaking. Which is a controversial statement for someone into, more extreme forms of metal, but I love glam riffs. And this was jam-packed full of it. A lot of heavy metal, but not heavy metal to the degree where it's like you're listening to Maiden. Yeah, you're listening to some pop rock with, I'm not even going to say a bit of attitude. There is no attitude on this record. It's pleasing. It's sellable. And I was saying during the listen through song by song, I said, if I heard this album from a band that was playing locally, like at local dues doing support acts or maybe headlining a show or two, and I heard this, I thought, flipping heck, this is good. You know what I mean? That's what I base it down on when these records aren't necessarily like studio produced to hell and back and isn't like completely coated with studio magic. I can perceive them like a band that will be performing locally or touring in my local area, if not starting to go abroad and stuff like that. And I can perceive them as such. And if I heard a record like this from a relatively local band, I think, geez Louise, that's a sick act. That's sick, So I thought this was a really good project. I can see why it didn't fly straight away, but I don't know why this wasn't sold as a stepping stone to being funded by a major label. I honestly don't know who missed out on this or what their reasons were for not escalating this to the next level and them having to, change vocalists down the line and take a different, change of sound and so forth. Hey, I'm not complaining. We all got into Pantera via, well, unless you were knocking around these times, I'm sure we all got into Pantera via, the more modernized, well-known style of the band, but this is really quality stuff. The structuring was good. The frontman was really good. If anything, I'd rather have this frontman than Phil Anselmo on the actual groove metal stuff. I don't really care. Like, I prefer his style. I think he's got a great voice on him. The bassist, is it Rex on the bass? He holds this record down. He's plugging from start to finish. I don't normally say that when it comes to album listen throughs. Bassist held this record down. He was the anchor throughout this entirety of it, keeping it sturdy, stable, and that's what we want for a sound like this. We want that presence, and he created that. Yeah, I'm going to rate this record. Sometimes I bypass the rating if I feel, I'm going to do it disservice, but I'll give it a 7.5, me. I'll give it 7.5 out of 10. Give it 7.5 out of 10. That'd be an 8 if it was well produced. Yeah. I thought this was really good. It's quality. Am I going to come back to this record? Nah, because, there's better ear candy for me out there. But, yeah, I appreciate it. This was a good record. I'm signing out. Peace.